अगर आप सिंस यू आर अ वॉइस ओवर आर्टिस्ट, अभी मैं आपको एक सिचुएशन दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है? इंजेक्शन को दिल से रिप्लेस करते हैं और आप डॉक्टर के पास जा रही हैं इंजेक्शन लगवाने के लिए। अब इंजेक्शन को दिल बोलना है, आप बताइए कैसे?
इंजेक्शन को दिल बोलना है,
रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं, इंजेक्शन का नाम चेंज कर रहे हैं, उसको दिल बना रहे हैं। आप वो कैसे बात करेंगे उनसे?
इंजेक्शन लगाने की जगह दिल लगा ले।
मैं तो दिल लगाता नहीं हूँ, आप अपने कंपाउंडर से दिल लगवा लीजिए।
अच्छा, पर डॉक्टर साहब मुझे आप ही से दिल लगवाना है, कंपाउंडर से नहीं लगवाना है, आप लगा दीजिए। Secondly, yes, language does matter. What we can do here is when we want to use English or any other language as a medium for expression and communication, it is very important that we understand the nuances of the language. I love you. Raj, this is an insult.
Hello everybody, my YouTube family. How are you doing? I'm sure you all are doing pretty well, isn't it? Sounds good to me as well. And for those who are visiting this channel first time, let me just welcome you with my open arms. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming, watching this video. Or I have a request. Before you leave this channel, please do subscribe to this channel because that gives us a lot of encouragement to make more informative videos for you guys. And also give you my introduction as well. My name is Pramod Raj Shukla. I'm the founder of Creativity Technologies Private Limited, also holding a position of Senior Vice President at 3 Point Solutions. Indeed, today is Friday and we are back with another conversation with someone very special in the studio. But before I take the name of the guest, I want to share the dark side of my personality. What kind of problem I used to face in my life. Guys, I never had a great command of English language. I used to stammer a lot. I was not able to express myself in a public place. I had a massive fear of stage and never had a confidence to talk about anything in front of anyone. And you might be thinking why I'm telling you all those things. Because if you are also facing these issues up till now, then this topic, this interview is going to be very, very informative for you. Because I have a guest today. She's not only possessing a very diversified profile, but an ocean of knowledge. You take away from this topic, from this interview, how to overcome communication issue, stage fear, public speaking, and many more. So guys, I can't wait any further to have a conversation with my guest, Shilpi Das Chauhan. So please join me in welcoming Shilpi Das Chauhan. Shilpi, thank you so much for coming and welcome to Bear Books.
Thank you so much for having me over here. It's my pleasure and I'm honored.
You know what? My audience and I eagerly waiting to know more about you. So at first, who is Shilpi Das Chauhan?
Who is Shilpi? I consider myself as a very, very global Indian. Having been brought up in various naval bases across the country, I think it has helped me rise above any kind of barriers, cultural barriers, regional barriers, linguistic barriers. So I consider myself very lucky to have been brought up in that environment. And apart from that, I'm a mother of 2 children. I have a 16-year-old daughter, a 13-year-old son, and I'm a voiceover artist. I'm also a voice coach and a sound healing practitioner. Apart from that, I have recently, about a year back, I co-founded Karista Foundation. So Karista Foundation is into promoting Indian art and culture, also supporting the handicraft artisans, the dying handicrafts of India, and mainly providing psychological care for the elderly people who feel lonely, lack of companionship affects them, being away from children affects them. And somewhere this loneliness takes away their peace of mind, feeling included in the society. They feel usually excluded. And that affects their mental health, and which results in dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, these kind of mental problems and physical ailments, we try to provide them psychological care, mainly through psychotherapy and also through sound healing. So that's what I do. And I think if you ask me, I'm very happy being a sound healing practitioner and also a voiceover artist.
Right. I have also seen one of the projects where you were saying that you are a trainer as well.
Right.
So what kind of training you do?
See, currently I am mainly focusing on coaching people on their voices. Okay, I was a corporate trainer earlier, where I trained people mainly on soft skills, communication, customer service, etiquettes, selling skills. Those kind of skills I was focusing on. But over a period of time, after I became a voiceover artist, I realized that there's a lot of work that can be done on people's voices. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, and it's very interesting.
So, Shilpi, I have seen many trainers, okay? And being a voice trainer, I'm not talking about voice and accent training. I'm talking about an authentic voice therapist, right? It's a very niche area, very niche. So how did you get inspired to pursue this particular area of your interest?
I remember, today also I was remembering actually, I was remembering my voice coach who had once told me that, Shilpi, you're going to be an awesome voice coach and I think you should do it. That was years ago and I really did not know that I would take it up. But over a period of time, the corporate trainer in me and the voice artist in me combined to become a voice coach. And I realized that voice is the connecting tool for everyone, but it is so much neglected. So I wanted to share my knowledge, my understanding, my expertise with people so that they could work upon their voices and make a difference in the way they speak and communicate. And mainly that's what inspired me. And I only do one-on-one because I consider the person as a whole, one personality, and somewhere they are affected by their mental state of mind, the emotions. So I work on that person as a whole, and that's what inspired me to bring in that vocal transformation in a person to be able to communicate more effectively and persuasively.
If you talk about communication, although communication has a different meaning in different places, but I want to understand, how do you define communication, voice, diction, modulation, and overall impact of all these things? Yeah, because understanding about, we know that communication, we know the voice, but coming from you is going to be very, very informative for us.
Right. See, I always keep saying that more than a technique, communication is an art. And the first element of communication is the voice, the verbal communication or the oral communication. And then the language and the speech. But most of the time, we are focusing on the language and the speech, but we forget that we are using our voice to express through the language and speech. Okay? So if you look at it as an art, then you also have to treat it very artistically. So be it diction, pronunciation, enunciation, whatever it is. I believe in one saying by Oliver Wendell Holmes. He was an American poet and physician and also a legal scholar. He said that if you speak at all, speak clearly and carve every word before you let it fall. So this carving of the word means so much of work behind before you actually let the word out of your mouth. So today I would say that now people are realizing if you want to really make an impact on somebody, you should have an emotionally influencing voice. In the space of verbal performance or oral communication, you need to influence people emotionally. And it's like delivering emotions. If you cannot touch a person's heart, that communication is ineffective. If you cannot stir somebody's heart or connect with them emotionally, it doesn't make any sense. You'll be robotic or mundane. So it's a combination of all of these. You cannot compartmentalize. Yeah.
So Shilpi, take an example, like my native speaking is Hindi. English is my second language. So how to put the emotions on those languages where you are not a native speaker? So take an example. I will give you a small example. मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ. Emotions हैं इस पे.
बताओ ना इमोशनली. मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ, इमोशनली बोलो.
हाँ, मैंने जैसे बोला कि मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ.
ये तो बहुत अच्छा नहीं बोला. मैं आपसे प्यार करता हूँ. क्या है?
अच्छा.
अच्छे से बोलो.
Okay, मतलब
I love you.
I take it with my open arms. I take it. I will not say anything else. Yeah, so that emotions part, when you talk in your native speaking language, right? So you get emotions and you connect with people. Taking somebody saying something in Bengali, you might get connected.
Yeah.
But if I speak in English, I don't get that emotions. And especially why I'm talking about, because the same thing which I tell my people, the fresher hiring which I do, I tell that you have to put emotions. You can't talk like in a flat way. You have to have modulations. Like when you say that two voices are talking, they can't see that how good looking you are. Your voice is talking. So and it's not about dominating each other, but making that connection. Somehow I'm not able to convey that message to them, that how they can do that. So if you can give me some advice.
See, it's a very important point that you've raised here. Yes, language makes a lot of difference. When we are used to speaking in our native language, we're more comfortable there. Okay? And we know how to emote and express in that language. But still, when we use even our native language for a professional performance in a professional space, we tend to not use emotions. But we are generally conversing. We are quite expressive most of the time. But when it comes to delivering emotions in a professional setup, we lack that ability. Secondly, yes, language does matter. What we can do here is, when we want to use English or any other language as a medium for expression and communication, it is very important that we understand the nuances of the language. In my coaching sessions, I always tell my students to listen more. If you really want to build expertise in that language, it is important that you listen. हम भाषाएं कैसे सीखते हैं? हम जन्म लेते ही तो बात करना नहीं सीखते ना, शुरू नहीं करते बात करना. We take about a year's time to actually understand the sounds around us. What is bhasha? Bhasha is just word. We back it with our voice and emotion, right? So if you want to really build a connection with that language, it is important that you understand and listen to that language. अब मुझे कन्नड़ा सीखना है तो मैं कन्नड़ा मूवीज देखूंगी, क्योंकि उसमें जो नुआंसेस हैं, ये शब्द कैसे बोला, इस शब्द की आवाज़ क्या है, इसमें किस सिलेबल पे स्ट्रेस किया गया है, ये सब समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. इट्स लॉट ऑफ डीप वर्क. If you're ready to make that change, then you will make that effort. If you're not ready to make that change, you'll be where you are.
How to get that sense? Take an example. I will give you one example here. When I say, hi guys, my name is Pramod Raj Shukla. I'm working with 3-point solutions, right? So I know where to put that, impression and the emphasis part. But people, they do not understand that part. They are just talking, hi, this is Pramod Raj Shukla. I'm working with 3-point solutions. So that part, I'm not able to teach them that where to put that pressure, where to put that, that impact, that, okay, they can understand.
Yeah.
I gained that knowledge, okay, like it's been 18 years, I know that. So I gained that, but somehow I'm not able to train my people on those things, that how to put those pressure or emphasis on something.
See, that comes with a lot of unlearning, because people are used to speaking in a certain way. You have made a conscious effort, a deliberate effort. Anytime you want to unlearn or learn something new, there's a lot of unlearning that you have to do. Only when you come to a stage 0, you can start learning something. But if you remain where you are and say that, okay, I don't know if I can make that change and I'm not ready to make that effort, it will not happen. There's a lot of deliberate effort. So somewhere they need to be changing themselves mentally, because your voice is connected with the head and the heart. And it is here right in the center of the head and the heart. Okay, in between that. So it is connected with our intellectual awareness and the heart awareness, the consciousness and the emotions. So somewhere they have to be made aware that voice is the only tool they have to connect with people emotionally. That awareness has to start, and somebody has to push. Maybe you really, as a leader, have to push them. That's the only tool they have. Okay? And it is important that they express their emotions, they connect with people emotionally. Just speaking in a robotic voice is not going to help. So somewhere, somebody has to, like, for example, I'll give you a very classic example today. I was coaching one gentleman today. He has joined my course. And talk about sadness, talk about happiness. He spoke in the same tone. There was no variation, no change. I said, यार तू गुस्सा है, तू खुश है, तू नाराज है, तू दुखी है, कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है. सेम ही है सब तेरे लिए. I mean, you express it. Why are you holding it back? Somewhere the psychological impact they have gone through during their upbringing, the social conditioning, the surroundings they have been brought up in, the stimulations they have received as a child, and maybe the hardships they have gone through. Lot of this hold them back. And they have to break that psychological barrier to use their voice optimally. And that is why I say it is an art and not a technique. Because first and foremost, you have to let your voice free. And to let your voice free, you have to set yourself free. And that's what I personally work on each person, setting them free, completely uncaging them. Without that, it is very difficult to work on voice. All that they have been through or they have grown up with, that has to completely negate it and start anew. Just by telling them, emotions dalo, energy dalo, it doesn't work. They have to first come in contact with their own emotions and break the psychological barriers. It's very, very important. Voice is very vast. It doesn't happen in a jiffy because you're used to speaking in a certain way. And also when you grow up, you're listening to sounds around you, how your elders spoke. For example, I have been very grateful and thankful that I have been brought up around people who spoke in a very expressive manner because my mother's side, most of them are very artistically inclined. So, koi drama mein hai, koi poetry recitation mein hai, koi dance mein hai, music, all these things. So the way they express is very, very emotional and very dramatic and very colorful. So I have picked up those nuances. And I'm thankful I picked up those nuances. If I had people around me speaking in the same monotone, I would have also picked up those sounds. Kyunki hum sunkar seekhte hai na. It's just not the words we are learning from our language. We are also understanding how it is being expressed. So if it is expressed without emotions, we'll pick up those sounds only. So if we really want to pick up the right sounds, it is time they understand that this is the powerful tool. And they have to make the change to really make a difference in the way they communicate.
And so, there's no limit, there's no age limit to learn these things.
Not at all. I get people who are in the middle of the career or maybe in the peak of the career. Or even somebody starting off. It depends upon each person's mindset. They really want to make a difference, they join my course. Because I can't take a horse to drink water. Somewhere they have to be ready that, yes, I want to make a change. I want to really speak effectively. I want to learn the nuances of speaking more emotionally and making an impact, connect with my audience emotionally. Right. That interest, that desire has to come from within. You cannot technically make somebody speak in a good way.
Okay. So, Shilpi, as a trainer, how do you analyze what approach you should follow when you start training with freshers, or do you change your approach according to the audience what you get?
Yes, I do. There's a huge difference if I train a fresher or maybe somebody in the middle of the career or maybe somebody at the peak of the career, because everybody's competency levels differs. Everybody's mindset differs. The attitudes they bring in differ. The background differs. The psychological state also differs. Everything is different. Okay. For example, I trained somebody in London. She wanted to communicate effectively because her need was different. Her need was to be able to assert herself in a very authoritative way, which she herself did not know. I actually analyzed her requirement and I told her, this is your requirement, tell me if I'm right. Because she has been growing horizontally but not vertically. And she's 42. She said, how long can I grow horizontally? I want to grow vertically as well. I mean, jumping jobs, I have grown, but I want to grow in the same company vertically. And people are not taking me seriously because I sound low in confidence, I sound timid, I sound very kiddish. So this was her requirement, to be able to get the coveted position, the next position in the hierarchy. So my training for her differed. I had to work on her psychologically, completely psychologically, more than her voice. And then slowly the voice started falling in place.
Okay. So if you talk about the networking part, right? I'm not networking, I'm talking about people connection, right? We have social media, of course, we get connected. But when it comes to the interaction part of the conversation, that is very important for me. So how, like, does it really work if you have a good communication skills and you're building a network with people around?
On social media, you mean to say?
Social media is a different thing. Like when, taking example, we are having an interaction. So how and how does it gonna affect of these good communication skills when you are meeting with people and building up your network with?
Oh, yes, of course. I think we all are suckers for high energy, right? If I say, hi Raj, or I say, hi Raj,
Of course.
there's a difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Which one will you prefer? Hi
Second
Raj,
one.
the
Second one, of course.
right? So the way we feel and the emotion or the energy that we use to produce that vocal sound can change the frequency of the output. This understanding is very important, that you are energizing your sound with your emotion. So I want to be really ecstatic because I want to show that I'm happy meeting Raj. Hi, Raj. Rather than, hi, Raj, this is Shilpi. How boring. Okay? So I don't want to sound boring. So when you want to network and meet people, it's very, very important that you sound interesting, you sound warm, approachable, and friendly. And that comes with a certain amount of energy in your voice. And we have to understand that our voice is the vibration. So how you want to vibrate your voice, what level of energy you want to use, you have to decide that before uttering that sound.
Makes sense. Yep. And as I said before, like I do a lot of training for my freshers. Of course, those trainings are pertaining to the nature of the business, which I have. And of course, I also talk about the communication part, how they can build the communication. So I have jotted down few concerns. It's a collective feedback from the entire trainings we have. So I want to talk about this. And these 2-3 questions are about me. Okay, the problem which I have, I believe that I have this problem. So I always, feel out of breath when I'm speaking for some time. Like if I talk for 20 minutes, I feel like I don't have breathe anymore. I have to. So how do I increase the capacity of that breathing when you are doing the public speaking? Because when you are talking, that is also happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know, this is a problem or is something else we have.
Yeah. Do you do breathing exercises?
I do meditation.
Okay.
I do meditation.
What kind of meditation you do?
Like Alom Vilom, then I do Ucharan of Om.
Yeah. You
Because
told
when
me
I
that.
when I sit at the corner and just say I
The humming sounds.
Exactly. So I keep changing and ever since I started doing it, I believe that my voice have been changed.
Yes.
Okay, I can see that the heaviness of my voice.
Yeah.
And it has some kind of I don't know weight on my voice.
Yes, it builds the resonance and the depth.
Exactly.
Chanting Om or any humming sound, like you said, it builds resonance and it also builds stamina. And the whole vibration of your vocal tract changes. It alters the vocal tract greatly.
I feel the vibration on the chest.
Yeah.
Oh, then I feel that okay, it is coming from here.
No, when you do Om, it should come from here, your diaphragm. You will feel the vibration here and not here because this space is hollow. So you might not feel the vibration here, but Om chanting should always come from the diaphragm because your diaphragm is hollow. You push the air from here and then you use your lungs to push it further up. The energy is from the lungs, but your air is going from here. So if you practice your pitches, okay, you have to practice from the diaphragm. This is the low pitch, the deep resonating pitch. And then you have the chest voice. And then you have the high Raj, the head voice, the high pitch voice. So when we practice the pitches, it is very important to understand that we have sa here, sa and sa. So these three variations we have to understand, and each variation will take a different kind of energy. If you can speak from here, you will sustain your stamina for a longer period. The moment you shift it here and here, you will go breathless. Okay, because this takes more energy and stamina, and we get tired easily. So the practice is to speak from here. That will really help you maintain your stamina. So you probably have to be very conscious about understanding where are you speaking from. Are you speaking from your diaphragm? Where is the voice coming out from? From the diaphragm, your low pitch, or chest, or the throat voice, the high pitch voice. Okay, that is very important. And it is also important that you variate. If you variate, you can maintain the stamina. Sometimes if you stick to just one pitch, that also interferes with the stamina and the breath control.
Okay. And how much involvement we have the nasal voice when you talking, right? Like this is coming from your throat, right?
Yeah.
But how much involvement we have with the nasal voice?
Totally, because these are your cavities, right? You use these are your articulators, your nose, the nasal cavities, the jaws.
The difference is that अब जैसे अभी आप कोई नाक से गा रहा है, हम लोग फीडबैक दे रहे हैं, तुम नाक से गा रहे हो, तो वो डिफरेंस क्या है? नाक और गले का क्या मतलब? मैं ये नहीं समझ में आता कि नाक से गाना क्या होता है.
हाँ, वो somewhere see they are. Yeah, this is another case I'll tell you. One gentleman had come to get trained by me maybe 2 years back. He had a nasal voice, really strong nasal voice. Okay, because he produced his voice from here. He never used the chest or the low pitch voice. He only produced it from here. Probably he picked up the sound from his surroundings because that's what he heard from other people. What we hear impacts us a lot. That we have to understand. How people around us, the grown-ups have spoken around us. We might have been very close to somebody and we are impacted by somebody that we idolize, and how they speak impacts us. So if you have heard nasal voices around you, you can just pick that up. And that is how our association with sound is. We pick up sounds and we involuntarily use them in our vocal production. So when we want to change our voice, it is very important to understand what is our vocal energy, vocal production, how are we doing that. So most of the people who speak nasally, they will only produce the sound from here and the nasal tract. So that's how they sound nasal, and it is a challenge for them to actually go down to the other pitches. But it is possible. This gentleman made it possible with a lot of vocal exercises, and under my supervision, he did it.
So this is not a disease, right?
No, not at all, not at all. हम भी नाक से बोल सकते हैं ना? तो नहीं भी बोल सकते, बोल भी सकते.
Okay, second question आप जो एक team member ने भेजा है.
हाँ.
He wants to understand, like, I want a deeper, more confident voice. How can I lower the pitch of my speaking voice? He has a very I will not take the name of that person, but he has a very feminine voice, you know. Hello. So he wants to have that deeper voice.
उसको बोलो आप ओम प्रैक्टिस करते हो, सबसे बेस्ट एक्सरसाइज है वो.
Best है मैम वो तो.
Best exercise. You know, actually the Om sound will detox all that energy toxins in your body. So आपको अगर psychological stress भी है जो आप aware नहीं हो for the time being, because you have grown up and all your psychological stress is buried deep inside in your existence and you don't want to bring them out. When you start chanting Om, and especially early in the morning if possible, it actually creates a different kind of vibration in your body and clears all the energy toxins, all the psychological stress. And those toxins come out as energy toxins only. I remember having recommended this exercise to one gentleman, and he said that after this, he was actually vomiting because he was under a lot of psychological stress, and I recognized that. And I recommended this exercise to him. He was vomiting after every morning after chanting Om. So it really works wonderfully and builds that deep resonance from here. But you also have to understand that you are producing the sound from here. Like Om, not Om, Om. It has to resonate through your entire tract. Okay, so that definitely will help him get through all his energy toxins out of his body. As far as sounding confidence, that is again the mental setup. Yeah, like I said, your voice is connected with your head and your heart. So that has to change. But Om definitely strengthens the whole psychological being.
I believe because I used to have a lot of like ever since I started, ma'am, I feel that something is changing internally now.
Yeah.
I feel that it's been almost 6 months I'm doing it, and I got the confidence. I know when I'm talking, what I'm projecting, and how I will get the things done. So that is Om is something which I always recommend people that you should do that no matter what you do.
Yes.
People say you have to read newspaper, books loudly and all. I said do it, it's good. But first thing you do, Om Ucharan.
There are a lot of vocal exercises. So I'm glad you're telling them, you're inspiring them to do Om Ucharan. There are a lot of vocal exercises. I'll tell you a few. One is your Om. The other one is hum. Hum sound, which actually opens your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is pivotal to oral communication. It is sitting right behind the larynx. And most of the time when there is psychological stress, the throat chakra gets blocked. And that's where we start feeling low self-esteem, timid, not so confident. Sometimes we also feel overconfident and talk too much. That is also an indication of blocked throat chakra.
So when you say hum, there should be vibration.
Hum is the Bij mantra for opening the throat chakra. So if you really want to clear all the blockages apart from Om, say this hum. This is one. It will vibrate. Hum. Then another one is ho. Hum. Ho. Hum. So one is hum, plain. One is ho. Hum. This actually opens the throat chakra. So these exercises, if they do regularly, they will see a lot of difference in them.
Second question I got. I don't know how high and low I should be speaking, and how do I find my optimal pitch? That is a problem with me as well. Sometimes I don't know up to what level I have to go high and when I have to go down, because sometimes I maintain that my training like this. The graph is growing. So sometimes I feel that people are feeling like very uncomfortable. Why is this guy shouting? But I'm not shouting. When you get your own subject and when you are very passionate about that subject, you get excited. And when you get excited, you are going crazy, like with your voice and body language, everything that will be included there. So I don't know when I have to stop myself, understand the audience acceptance and downloading process. This is the problem which I face sometimes. So what you have to say about it?
See, here it is very important to understand that although you are performing verbally, it is a verbal performance, and you are taking your voice to the professional levels. Okay? Generally conversing is one thing, and taking your voice to the professional performance levels is another thing. So why are you doing that? What is your intent, purpose, and outcome? Are you doing it for yourself? Or you want to have an impact on your audience? So audience is important, the most important. Why should they listen to you? If you're not allowing yourself to connect with them and you are flowing with your own passion and emotion, that means it's a one-way process. You're not allowing them to connect with you. You're not allowing yourself to connect with them. You're connected with your subject, so you are passionate about it. But are you able to gauge whether they are connecting with you? So I think as a speaker, it's very important that we are constantly checking audience reaction. And that's how we keep changing. We have to be very mindful and observant about these things. Okay? And here when we talk about pitch, it's not about finding the optimal pitch, Raj. It's about variating through the pitches. We don't like a stagnant sound. It's mundane, monotonous, boring. We are suckers for variation. So,
like a wave.
Yeah. You see, if you record your voice, if you really are good at modulation, you will see the waves going like this, the sound waves. If you're not really good at modulation, it will be tick, 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 like this. So, can you create that wave of inspiration? Can your voice inspire people? Can it emotionally affect people? Can it persuade people to love you, be affectionate towards you, to eat out of your palms. That is important. And that can happen when you vary it through pitches, intensity, pause, pace, all of this. So, pitch, pace, pause, intensity, melody, and the tone. 6 very important elements of voice. So, pitch cannot be constant. Intensity cannot be constant. Intensity means loudness, volume, okay? Pause cannot be in the same places or break the sentences so that the comprehension is affected. Pauses should be such that people can comprehend you very well, okay? Your, what else did I say? Tone. Tone is highly proportionate to the emotion that you are using. So when we smile physically, you can hear the smile. Like you're on the phone and you don't know who's there. You have never seen the person's face. But you can actually make out if the person is warm, friendly and approachable only because the person is speaking with certain kind of cheer and smile. So when you physically smile, the vocal tract alters. It can be heard in the voice. And I wanted to point this out when we talked about confidence. When you smile, you look confident. When you smile physically, it can be heard in your voice. So that is one part of sounding and looking confident. Very, very important. Being comfortable with smiling. A lot of people don't. They have a very straight face, boring face, and they sound boring. They don't express through their eyes. They don't express through their facial gestures. They don't use hands. They don't use body movements. So they sound and look boring. Or maybe if they do, they're doing it just at one plane. There's no variation there.
Absolutely. Okay. And another question I got, I get nervous when speaking in certain situation. How can I increase my confidence when speaking to others? Of course, you just talked about it. You just give this information.
One thing very important I'll tell you. See, history has a lot of instances where people like Margaret Thatcher, Diana, Hitler, they have all hired voice coaches. Okay, to be better speakers, to be able to make that impact. And it takes time. Have you seen the movie The King's Speech? You should. It's a wonderful movie how a vocal coach and a speech therapist actually teaches the King of England to be able to speak persuasively, overcome his stammering problem. And it's a lot of psychological stuff there. The way he bonds with the king and helps him overcome his fear. Okay, so there's a whole process there. It doesn't happen in a day or a two. So, what was the question again?
That I want to build my confidence when I talk to others.
Yeah. So, if I give you an example from history, then this is definitely one example where the king of, I think King George VIII probably, was trained by a vocal coach to overcome his stuttering. Then Hitler, he had 3 voice coaches. So he practiced in front of a mirror. Very well practiced speech. Only then he went and delivered in public. So that technique is very good. Being comfortable with your body, with your expressions is very important. So stand right in front of a mirror and be your own audience. Check how you speak, check how your eyes look, check how your face looks, how you smile, how much are you using your hand gestures, how comfortable are you within your body. Take anything, a piece of story, a children's story. And children's stories, mind you, are very, very good way to express because they have so much scope to animate. Are you able to animate? See, words come alive with your voice. Otherwise, they're just dead text. That's it. There's no emotion there. You bring them alive with your voice. So are you able to animate? Children's stories are the best exercise. In fact, I'd start training with children's stories. And many a times people get flustered. Children's stories, why? I said, because you need to express and animate. If you don't do that, you will not be able to take your voice to the performance levels. Right? You should open up completely. Set your voice free. You should be like a buffoon, even if you need to.
Right. And I also tell my people when same thing I talk about, like you go in front of a mirror and you see yourself, how you are talking and how you're using hand, because that will also give you the idea like how you can just give a very positive, gesture to others. At the same time, I ask them to record your conversation. Like, take example,
Yeah.
you're talking. You don't know what kind of pronunciation you are using, how you have to pronounce any certain word. Like, store it and hear it. And when you feel that, okay, there's a problem here, then you can repeat yourself. You can just walk. I can give you an example. Massachusetts is one of the words I struggle a lot to know, but pronounce this particular word. I took almost 1 month. Trust me. And so I always give by example, like if you want to really work on your communication, you have to do that. Since you talk about stammering, I used to stammer a lot. Like stammer like hell. So what I used to do, like सुपारी आता है ना, वो जो पान में डालते हैं, तो पूरा का पूरा सुपारी लो, अब मुंह में रख लो आप, और अपनी जीभ के बीच में रखो, राइट, और उसके बाद आप पेपर पढ़ो, तो आपका जो टंग है ना, वो ट्विस्ट होता है, और जब वो ट्विस्ट होता है तब आपको सही वर्ड्स, आपका प्रोनाउंसिएशन निकलेगा वो. आई डिड दैट पार्ट.
Yeah, there's one more exercise. That's a good one. One more exercise. आप पेंसिल रख लो ऐसे लिप्स के बीच में, दांतों के बीच में दबाकर, and then you read. That builds the tongue's flexibility. Yeah, like you did with Supari. That's another way. Put the pencil between your lips, bite it with the jaws, with your teeth, and you start reading. That is a very tough exercise, but very fruitful. If you do it regularly, it works. It really works. So when you talk about pronunciation, Raj, it is very important again to listen. Now, today it is very easy. We have recorders on the phone. We can record and listen. But you know, sometimes it's very difficult for a layman to understand where they are going wrong. Okay? Self-learning sometimes takes a long time. If somebody tells you, yahan aap galat ho, it's easier. Okay? Like for example, when I launched myself as a voice artist, I knew something is wrong. I'm missing somewhere, but I didn't know where I'm missing. So when I hired a voice coach for myself to get trained, it was easier for me because he told me, Shilpi, here, this is the part you're going wrong. It's easier then because record करके सुन लेते हैं, हमें समझ में आता है कुछ गलत है, क्या गलत है. Pronunciation is not the only thing because pause, very important. Lot of people don't know where to pause. तो वो कैसे समझे कहाँ पॉज करना है, क्यों करना है, वहां पर कहाँ ग्लाइड करना है, कितनी दूर तक ग्लाइड करना है, ये समझ नहीं होती है ना. लेमैन में ये समझ नहीं होती है. प्रोनाउंसिएशन भी प्रॉब्लम होगा बिकॉज इंग्लिश इज नॉट आवर नेटिव लैंग्वेज. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. यू हैव टू लिसन टू द लैंग्वेज. सो आई ऑलवेज रेकमेंड लिसनिंग टू ब्रिटिश कंटेंट, ब्रिटिश ऑडियो कंटेंट. Okay, because the more we listen, the more we understand the sounds and the nuances of which part of the syllable will be stressed. For example, it is an insult. Insult. He insulted me. It is an insult. Is a noun. It is an insult. I'm stressing on in. Insult. He insulted me. Sul. It is a verb. I stressed on the syllable sul. So insult has 2 syllables, in and sul. Insulted has 3 syllables, insulted. So in the first one, I say, Raj, this is an insult. I stressed on in. But when I said, Raj, you insulted me. Sul. I stressed on sul. So until unless you pay attention to the language, it is very difficult to understand these nuances.
तो शिल्पी, एक चीज मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा. जैसे जब हम अकेले बैठते हैं, एक रूम में बैठे हैं, अपने आप से बात कर रहे हैं, तो हम लोग परफेक्टली बात कर रहे हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो रही है. द मोमेंट वी गो आउट, वी गो ऑन द स्टेज, व्हेन वी मीट समवन, व्हेन वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग टू देम, अंदर एक फियर, एक अंदर से घबराहट से पैदा हो जाती है. और ऐसी घबराहट होती है वो, क्योंकि मैंने फील किया है, मैंने फेस किया है, तो
मैं भी फेस करती हूँ, कोई नई बात नहीं है.
हाँ, सभी फेस करते हैं. हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स. तो कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है कि ये मतलब ये आपके सामने जो पर्सनालिटी है वो आपको डोमिनेट कर रहा है, या फिर आपके पास सब्जेक्ट नॉलेज नहीं है उस पर. क्योंकि जब हम लोग, यू नो, आई लाइक यू
fillers. That I'm totally against those
exactly
fillers.
because when you do not have the subject knowledge, you do that. तो इस चीज को ओवरकम कैसे करें? जब से स्टेज पे जाओ एकदम यू आर नर्वस. आई एम टेलिंग यू नाउ आई कैन फेस द ऑडियंस, आई कैन एड्रेस द एंटायर फोरम, बट देयर वाज अ टाइम व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू गो ऑन स्टेज, माय like legs are shivering.
I know.
My legs are shivering, my mics are like I'm just shivering, like, what's going on with me? I'm the same line, and top of that वे वही लोग हैं जिनके साथ मैं रोज उठता बैठता खाता हूँ. वही ऑडियंस है जो कि मैं, जैसे आज मेरे पास 100 लोग काम कर रहे हैं मेरे साथ, मैं उनके साथ खाता हूँ, उठता हूँ, बैठता हूँ, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. द मोमेंट देयर इज अ स्टेज, देयर इज अ ऑडियंस एंड देयर इज अ माइक, शेकिंग. तो आई डोंट नो उस समय कैसे अपने को संभालूं, क्या करूं, आई डोंट नो.
Okay, see, one thing is very, very clear here, that all of us face this anxiety, and it is called performance anxiety at varied levels. Even a very good speaker would feel this anxiety. It is very, very normal. And the degrees will vary depending upon, of course, like you pointed out, the subject knowledge and the ease that you feel within your body. All right. So it is very important to understand that accept this anxiety. You will face it. However, how much ever well you are prepared, you will face this because you want to do well. You want to be perceived well. You want to sound well. Yeah. You want your audience to like you. So you're driven by these desires that you have. And it is very normal. But to somewhere manage that stress or anxiety that you're going through, it is very important that, yes, you as a person are prepared very well with what you want to speak upon. Okay, that's one thing. You have to be very, very well prepared. Until unless something comes up and you have to impromptu deliver something, it's a different thing. I'm sure when you have to impromptu deliver something, you are aware of what you want to speak.
Right.
Because that situation has risen out of some discussion. So you would have the knowledge. But when you're going to publicly perform in front of people and you know you have to speak on this matter, it's very important that you prepare well. Okay? Second is absolutely, I always say, everyone, however good you are with the language or your subject, draft your ideas completely. जो आपको बोलना है वो लिख लो.
आप भी करते हो ये?
बिल्कुल करती हूँ. अभी देखा नहीं, मैं देख रही थी कि मुझे क्या बोलना है. जरूरी है करना, because it declutters the mind. Because दिमाग में बहुत थॉट्स रहते हैं, उसको ऑर्गेनाइज करना पड़ता है ना. आपको लगेगा कि हाँ मैं जाके बोल दूंगा, बट उसको ऑर्गेनाइज कर लेना, लिख लेने से
ऑर्डर भी पता होना चाहिए कैसे.
नहीं, ऑर्डर इधर उधर हो सकता है, because when you actually go to deliver it live, the order might change, which is okay, but you should know the content at the back of your hand. Okay, so वो बहुत जरूरी है that you write down what you want to speak and form a thought process there. It declutters your mind, so you know it is out of your mind, then it has to be out vocally when you're speaking. So writing down your thoughts are very, very important, and practicing those thoughts again in front of a mirror, very important. There are also some vocal exercises that I can tell you before going on stage. Maybe you should do that. Okay? Very funny one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Articulators get jammed when we are in stress. So just 5 minutes before you go, hit the stage in front of the mic. Your lips, it eases out. Karo? Okay. Then
Okay.
yeah. It eases you. And then another breathing. Just take a deep breath. It will calm you down to a great extent. Take a deep breath. मुंह से निकालना है. And your shoulder, everything should go down. Yeah. So you will feel very de-stressed. तैयारी तो करनी ही है. Without तैयारी ये भी काम नहीं करेंगे. तैयारी तो करनी है. You should know your content, what you have to speak. Okay? Especially if you have a particular audience, you have to specifically touch certain points. You should know what points are those.
So this exercise I will definitely gonna do, because I am also thinking to go on stage, and I'm gonna address a lot of colleges right now. I'm getting a lot of invitation, but again, subject is there. Yeah. But this part I was thinking like what to do, and then thank you so much for answering that question. That's
and that's the breathing.
Right. Okay.
And उसके पहले है ना, आप खड़े होके थोड़ा hands and legs को
I do that.
That's
like I do all this. I relax myself, and I said I do all these things. Yeah.
Those are very important. But your content has to be very, very strong. You have to be very well prepared with your thoughts. That is very important. Then only you can feel confident.
Yeah, because if you don't have the subject knowledge, what are you going to talk about it? And there will be random questions, but pertaining to that subject, and you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
So pretty much done on that side here, Shilpi. I want to know your personal story, because the kind of growing upbringing you got, okay, you talked about it, you have already given all the information, but still, what is your anxiety? Like, when you get nervous, when you are like thinking out of the box. How do you handle all those things, like overwhelmed with something?
You need to explain a bit more. What is the context like?
Personal story in the sense, like, of course you're a coach.
No, I understood that. I mean, the question.
Yeah, I'm talking about the same thing. Like, when you are anxious, what you do? Do you also have a coach who gives you the advice? Because right now you are sitting at that hot seat that you are addressing people. Hey, this is what you can do. But when you are going through the same thing,
I coach myself.
That is very important, because that is also going to be a learning for me.
You know what? When I was being coached by my coach, I used to be so nervous in front of him because I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to falter, and he would give me so much of stress because I wanted him to be happy with my performance. So I would apparently make mistakes. Shelby, not done. Is it okay? When will he be happy? So that anxiety of performing in front of my coach would eat me up. And I see that in my coaches also. So, but yes, knowing, I would say that I actually learned from him to pick my own flaws. When you're able to pick your own flaws unbiasedly, you will be able to self-coach yourself. But picking those flaws has to be taught by somebody. किसी से सीखना पड़ेगा वो. हर कुछ हम अपने आप से सीख नहीं सकते हैं. तो कोई अगर बताता है ना आपको कि बेटा ये ऐसे कर लेना सही हो जाएगा, तो that eases me out. Because even today, if I have performed, I can pick up my flaws. यार यहाँ पे ऐसा करती तो ठीक रहता, अगली बार वैसा कर लूँगी.
आपको एक चीज बताऊं, मैं अपने कोई भी वीडियोस नहीं देखता हूँ. जैसे एक बार शूट हो गया ना, हाँ. शूट होने के बाद वो प्रोडक्शन में चला गया, मैं नहीं देखता हूँ. I know. क्योंकि मुझे इतनी गलतियां दिखेंगी ना उस पे, और मुझे लगा मैं अपने को ये गलती कैसे की तुमने, ये गलती कैसे की तुमने, ये गलती तो मैं देखता ही नहीं हूँ. मैं अपनी टीम से बोलता हूँ कि यार देखो, मुझे बताओ मैंने कहाँ पे गलत किया है, मैं उसको रेक्टिफाई करके, क्योंकि पूरे मुझे अपना जेस्चर ही गलत लगता है कि यार ये गलत तुमने कैसे. नहीं देखना चाहिए राज. नहीं देखता हूँ, क्योंकि मैं देखती हूँ खुद और बार बार देखती हूँ, बिकॉज मुझे फिर पता चलता है कि अगली बार मुझे ये नहीं करना है. आई टेक फीडबैक. मैं अपनी टीम से बोलता हूँ कि मुझे फीडबैक देना, मैंने कहाँ पे गलत बोला, कहाँ पे मैंने पॉज नहीं मारा, कहाँ पे मैंने ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड में बात की, कहाँ पे मेरा पिच हाई था. तो मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ, क्योंकि वो एक डिफरेंट एंगल से देख सकते हैं उसको. मैं कभी लगता है ना बायस होता है, यार अच्छा किया तुमने. A true artist is never biased, let me tell you. A true artist is very critical about their own performance. इसीलिए तो आर्टिस्ट नहीं हूँ. इसीलिए तो नहीं हूँ. तो आर्टिस्ट बन जाओ और अपने काम को खुद क्रिटिसाइज करो. Because a layman will not be able to give you the very detailed feedback, or they will give you from a very layman point of view. The way you would be able to understand the nuances, they will not be able to understand. Because artist को अपनी गलती पता रहती है. अगर मैं आज गाना गाने जाऊं, कहीं मेरा सुर लय ताल ब्रेक हो गया, मुझे पता रहेगा कि मैंने यहाँ पर ब्रेक कर दिया. ऑडियंस को शायद उतना पता ना रहे. ठीक है, so I think that's very important. Next time, like this video, I'm gonna watch it properly because I have to see myself where I'm going, where I was heading to, and how did I make a mistake. Yeah. Okay, now I'm coming to the favorite part, rapid fire round. Okay, and you can take your own time, but should be one word. So what is the one of the things you would put on your bucket list right now? World travel. World travel? And of course, like, which other countries you want to visit first? I want to visit Spain. Spain? And then Greece. I was there. It's just beautiful. Yeah, I've been there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, what would you choose to be? A news anchor, voice-over artist, or voice trainer? Voice-over artist. I feel so alive when I have a script in front of me and I have to bring those words alive. So voiceover artist. News anchoring is boring. Voice training, no. Voiceover artist. If you could talk in your sleep, what would you say? I love you. I love you too. But of course it is for someone else, right? I take it as I don't know for whom, because my son tells me, I love you, Mom, 100 times a day. So that sentence rings in my ears and my head all the time. I love you, I love you, I love you. So it's I love you. Very nice. And what is the first thing you do when you get up in the morning? I fold my hands, face my spiritual guru, just in gratitude. Shri Guru Joy. What is the most important object you own right now? You can't see it. Okay. Even you have it. Maybe a soul? The vocal track. Vocal track, okay. I got it. What is the childish things you do or still enjoy?
Which one?
Childish things you do or still enjoy?
Childish thing. I love to animate. I love to be silly. I love to express in a very animated way. I sing like that to my children. Still.
अगर आप सिंस यू आर अ वॉइस ओवर आर्टिस्ट, अभी मैं आपको एक सिचुएशन दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है? इंजेक्शन को दिल से रिप्लेस करते हैं और आप डॉक्टर के पास जा रही हैं इंजेक्शन लगवाने के लिए. अब इंजेक्शन को दिल बोलना है. आप बताइए कैसे है?
इंजेक्शन को दिल बोलना है.
हाँ, रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं, इंजेक्शन का नाम चेंज कर रहे हैं, उसको दिल बना रहे हैं. आप वो कैसे बात करेंगे उनसे?
इंजेक्शन लगाने की जगह दिल लगा ले.
आप बताइए, आप डॉक्टर के पास गए हैं, आप ऐसे कैसे बात करेंगे? डॉक्टर साहब मुझे आपसे दिल लगवाना है. डॉक्टर साहब बोलेंगे मैं तो दिल लगाता नहीं हूँ, आप अपने कंपाउंडर से दिल लगवा लीजिए.
अच्छा, पर डॉक्टर साहब मुझे आप ही से दिल लगवाना है, कंपाउंडर से नहीं लगवाना है, आप लगा दीजिए.
आप क्या और सोच सकती हैं और कैसे ऐसे फॉर्मेशन कर सकती हैं वर्ड को? आप कहाँ कहाँ दिल लगवाना चाहती हैं?
जहाँ जहाँ आप लगाना चाहे आप लगा दीजिए.
मैंने कल ही ये देखा था, मुझे बहुत फनी लगा, मैंने कहा आपके साथ ट्राई करूंगा ये.
हाँ, तो लगा दीजिए. दिल कहाँ लगाना आप लगा दीजिए, कोई बात नहीं.
Pretty much done. Okay, Shilpi ma'am, we have covered every aspect of voice, communication, stage fear, and whatnot. My learning is like phenomenal today, and I have learned so many things. And I strongly believe that my audience is gonna have lot of takeaway from this conversation. But before we conclude this conversation, I want you to just give an outro to my audience about.
See, first of all, consider communication as an art, not a technique. So you have to start looking at communication artistically. So when you talk about communication as an art, then you have to have an artistic approach. And when you have an artistic approach, you need to understand that your voice is a very, very powerful tool you have to connect with your people, whether it is a personal environment, whether it's a professional environment. You are using your voice, like we both of us spoke so much today. Voice is the connecting tool. So if your vocal sound energy is powerful, if you can emotionally persuade people, your communication is going to be effective. But it requires a lot of deliberate effort. Are you ready to make that deliberate effort? Are you ready to sound inspiring? So set your intent. What is your intent to use your voice? What is the purpose? And what is the outcome? When you have these three clearly defined for yourself, you start making the effort. And it takes time. So you have to give yourself time.
And there should not be any time limit here. It's an ongoing learning process, I guess.
It is.
Because every day you learn something new, whether it is a voice or anything else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have to keep
Very
on learning.
true. See, when people come to me, they sign up for 15 sessions. But even after 15 sessions, we do a 3 months of hand holding. Because 15 sessions you've learned something, there has to be a time for implementation as well.
No, this is phenomenal. आज वाकई मुझे लगा कि वाकई कुछ my takeaway is very, very good. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and having me.
The pleasure is all mine. I can't give the credit back to you. Of course not. It's all mine. And this is the small gesture from us.